Now, I know many of us are familiar with the container concept, and that's however much stuff you can fit in a certain area, that's how much stuff you get to have. Now, for most of us, the amount of stuff that we have fits inside our homes, and our home is the container that holds everything. It may go beyond that. We may get a storage unit. We may have an attic. We may have a shed out in the back. We may have other areas if we can't contain it to that one area. But there is a finite amount of space that everyone gets to have. Okay. So depending on how many places you have to store things, it does come to an end at some point. You're not cluttered by the whole world. You're not responsible for decluttering the whole world. You're only responsible for the areas that you claim. And growing up, it was a very small basket. Okay. All right. So when I moved away from home, I moved away everything that I had moving away fit inside a gym bag. And I hopped on an airplane. I flew all the way across the country and I started my life all over again as a nanny. Okay. Being the fourth oldest of 19 kids, I was an amazing babysitter. And that's what I knew how to do. And that was my first job away from home. So as I moved away, I moved into someone else's home. And they had this great big room that became my new container. And they're like, hey, this can become your room with your stuff. I was like, wow, this is a lot of space. I'm not sharing a room with all these sisters. How cool is that? And for the first time ever, I had my own space. I didn't have anything to put in it, but I had this huge room. Okay. Now, my question to you is, are you filling up rooms because you have the space? And are you okay with empty space? And if you're not, this is where a lot of people get in trouble when it comes to the shopping. They have the space and they say, whoa, this is looking pretty empty in here. I should fill this up. And without thinking about it, that's exactly what I did. Okay. I did not grow up in an environment that gave me a lot of stuff. So when I moved away, our house was full growing up, but it was because we had all these kids and all the stuff. Now I move into an empty space. And the first thing is, this is not my comfort zone. This is not my new normal. I must fill this space up, right? So without even being aware of what was happening, my first inclination was earn money and then go shopping, okay? So here I was in a strange place. I didn't know anyone. Everyone else that I knew were nannies. I got connected to the nanny network. And so all the nannies would go out at the end of every day. We didn't have any friends. And what did we have in common? We had in common that we were all single adults and that we all had children to take care of during the day. And we all moved from tiny places that were our parents' place that had all of our parents' stuff in it to rooms of our own, and there's nothing in it. So what did we do? We went shopping, and that became our new norm, and that was our social activity. We went shopping as a social activity and environment. And so I didn't know any better, and I didn't know what I didn't have. But I'd never been in an environment before where I was being judged based on what I had. So like I said, when we grew up, we took clothes off the line and it didn't matter whose t-shirt it was. A t-shirt is a t-shirt. Guys, girls, everybody can wear them. We all shared each other's clothes. We shared socks. We shared everything, right? Now I was living across the country on my own and I had all my own stuff. And then as I looked around at the other nannies, I'm like, oh, something bad just happened. They're prettier than I am. I don't have the kind of stuff that they have. So I started looking at them to kind of guide me to what am I supposed to be wearing. And when we were off the clock and we weren't being nannies, because we wore pretty much something like what I'm wearing right now, just normal everyday clothes. But when we would go out, we would dress up. And I realized, well, I don't really have any dress up clothes. I need to go get some dress up clothes. So I went to buy some dress up clothes. And then they were, doing the fingernails. I'm like, well, maybe I should go do the fingernails. And then they were doing the hair and getting colors and highlights in the hair. And so I did that too. And I started spending a lot of money to try to be like my other friends. And so when we would go out, we would shop and we would eat. And I went from 120 to 186 that first year, put on a whole lot of weight. And then the clothes that I was buying didn't look as cute on me. So I had to go buy bigger clothes. And, it was this weird kind of growth exploration of like, what is my relationship with stuff? And I hadn't clarified it. I was completely unconscious about my relationship with stuff.